Hello there, welcome to the 13th round of the candidates. Now, unlike the other rounds, I don't really have time to look at all the games, so I'm just going to look at the relevant games, the games of Nepomniachtchi and Giri, the only guys who have a chance to advance. And we are going to start with the game of Jan Nepomniachtchi with white against Maxim Vasil-Lagrave. Now, Emil might have... I think he had an outside chance if he wins the last two games and all the results are in his favor. So if he wants to do that, he has to play for a win. So that kind of explains the opening with c4, b6. So this is not considered like the best opening, but it's a typical opening when black is playing for a win. g3, bishop b7, double fianchetto. So black gives up a lot of space, white gets to play d5 here, and black goes for this unusual maneuver, knight a6, knight c5. With castle to castles, and b4 of course is too risky because of the diagonal. But at some stage white will try to go for it, so black plays a5. Rook d1, knight e8. So black, as you can see, very unusual. In the 10th move, black has not moved any of these pawns. So he's giving up the center basically. Trying to get, an interesting position and trying to play for a win. But in doing so, of course, black is taking on a certain disadvantage that a player would not do in normal, tournament circumstances. So bishop e5, e6. Nepomniachtchi is happy to trade the bishops. With the tournament situation, a draw would be a perfect result for him. I think, like draws in the last two games, he's almost guaranteed to advance. So rook a to b1, e5, trying to keep it interesting. Knight d2, f5, and white goes for he wants to push on the queen side, and he does. Pawn to b4, takes, knight back to a6. Awkward position, but. Again, if you push b5, I get knight c5, and you can't push c5, I take it. So e4, f4. Again, trying to keep it interesting, but white is very solid. We have a trade here, f takes, c5. Now Nepo took on c5, knight takes c5, and rook takes c6. So white wins a pawn, but black has... There's a lot of squares for his knights. Good knights, but what can they do? Queen to d8, rook d to b1, queen to c7, knight c3. At this stage, unless something drastic happens, it's very unlikely that black is going to win this game. Knight d1, keeping c4 under control. And now we have some trades. Nepo is happy, queen trade. And black tries to hold on. Knight to b6, putting pressure on c4. King e3, king f6. And as you can see, it's really difficult for white to really make any progress. Even though he's up a pawn, he doesn't have a pass pawn. And no real way to make a pass pawn. And indeed, they started to repeat moves here. And Nepo was quite happy to take his draw. So now, everything... hinged on what would happen in Giri's game. He had the black pieces. Draw would give him a chance, but a win is kind of, what the doctor ordered. So again, we see openings we don't really see that much at, at the top levels. We see a Queen's Indian here with bishop b4, bishop to d2, and c5. So unbalancing a little bit. Castle to castles, knight b d2, and d6. So black takes on these double pawns, but he wants to, set up his pawns on dark squares, play for a good light square bishop, and the dark square blockade. We'll see how that goes. a5, a3, white breaks these pawns up, but for now, black is not willing to accept. Rook after d1, queen e7, knight e1, and we have a trade. And, well, seeing that black has to try something, he really has to win this game. And we've seen the h-pawn push, the alpha 0 push, been successful in previous games. So h5, that's what Kiri goes for. He even had a moment against Caruana where h5 was the best move, but he didn't play it. Let's see how the alpha 0 push goes in this game. We have b takes a3, rook a to b8, and now we have this e4, e5. Black is trying to get a firm grip on the dark squares. Maybe get this square for the knight. I'm trying to play for that. Meanwhile, queen to d3, knight c7, rook a to b1, knight e6. So repositioning the knight was on a6, but on e6, now we're controlling more squares in the center. But white is not without his own chances. h4, g6, f3. Very solid. And now he repositions the knight. He's ready to push the knight maybe to e3. And from there it might jump to d5. Knight e5 hitting the queen goes back. We have a trade. Knight c6, okay, the rook has to move, queen e6, and now knight e3. And we see again, white is very solid. The knight is controlling this. And he's putting pressure, black has taken on some weaknesses, and the rooks are piling up the pressure. So to play for a win here is really difficult for black. So he tries f5 here, but now he is starting to drop stuff. The position is already difficult. There's pressure here, there's pressure here, pressure here. And eventually it looks like black just cracked. Now he's down 2 pawns. And you can't really trade too many pieces. And, well, long story short, white is up 2 pawns. He's not going to lose here. Most likely he's going to win. And indeed, that's what Grishuk did. We're going to just, see the remaining moves quickly. White is up 2 pawns. No chances for black, really. And after knight c5, Kiri resigned, and by doing that he resigned his chances of reaching the World Championship match. So Jan Nepomniachtchi, he's the winner. He's going to play against Magnus Carlsen later this year. I was really rooting for Kiri. I thought he played exceptionally in the second part, and it seems like he has transformed this game. If the candidates had started, the whole candidates had been played now, I think Kiri would have advanced, but with the first part with MVL and Nepo, having the upper hand, that's what propelled Nepo to the World Championship match. I believe like this game, Kiri had to take chances with the tournament situation. He's been playing fantastically. Maybe his time will come, who knows? But I hope the new Kiri is here to stay. If so, he will reach the highest stages. He will reach a World Championship match playing like this. But Nepo was kind of my second favorite. I didn't want Caruana. I think Caruana is very good, but given the way the last World Championship match went, I'm not sure I wanted to see that again. I think Nepo might be an interesting opponent, especially with their history. The World Youth Championship in 2003, I think the World Under 14. Nepo, he became world champion. He was ahead of Magnus Carlsen. I think actually Chikalko might have won. But Nepo was ahead of Magnus. And their individual score is still in the favor of Nepo, given that Nepo kind of held the upper hand when they were young. But recently, Carlsen has been, setting the record straight, and I think he has been doing very well in like blitz and rapid. But who knows? In any case, it's going to be an interesting match, and we're looking forward to that. But I think, since we have a winner, I think this will conclude my coverage of the candidates. Those that stuck through it, thank you for sticking with me. I think we will be moving on to bigger and better things on the channel now. We're going to continue the pattern recognition series. I have some new stuff coming up, and looking forward to it, and looking forward to see you. See you next time. Bye bye.